Hi everybody, I'm Kimberley of Happy Gals Vintage. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you are all well. Today we are going to do a little vintage shopping. I'm going to show you some items that are in our Happy Gals Vintage shop right now and available for sale. And if you're interested in our Happy Gals Vintage shop, please do check out the link in the description below this video. You just click on it, it'll take you right there and you can check out everything in our shop. Today I'm just going to talk about a few really interesting items. One really fun thing about being a seller of vintage and antique collectibles is that I'm always finding different items for the shop. I hardly ever have the same thing twice. And this means over a period of years I will hardly ever have the same item twice. And one thing I really enjoy about being a vintage and antique dealer is just looking for really unusual items. You know, fun and interesting things that I could put in my shop that you won't be able to easily find anywhere else. So today I thought you might enjoy just seeing some of the unusual items that we have in our shop right now. And so let's get started. One thing that we sell at Happy Gals Vintage all the time is teapots. And I'm always looking for different unique antique and vintage teapots to add to our shop, and they sell all the time. And one that I recently found is this really interesting porcelain teapot that is in the shape of a pumpkin. And I just love this, it's so much fun. The handle and the spout and the base are leaves or vines of the pumpkin plant, and the top is sort of like its own little pumpkin with its own stem and leaves, and it's just such an interesting and fun piece, and it's in really good vintage condition. There's no cracks or chips or crazing or anything like that, and it's just lovely, hand painted porcelain. So this is available in our shop. And by the way, all of these products we will also have listed in the description below this video. So you'll be able to go and click right on a particular product if you're interested in just that one product, and taking a look to find out more information about it on our website. Now, if you are into animals, we have so many vintage figurines in our shop and a lot of really interesting, fun figurines. One in particular that we have right now is this really adorable little dog figurine. He's sort of a scruffy little puppy and he's porcelain with all his little hairs that are, you know, each individually kind of sculpted to make him look really furry and fluffy and scruffy. And I just think he's wonderful. You know, over the years he has had a couple of places where little tiny parts of him have broken off, and then it's been retouched in places, so it's very hard to see the small amounts of damage that are on this little guy. If you look really closely, you'll be able to see them, but for the most part he's in really good condition, and just as cute as can be, and he is available in our shop right now. Other animals we have is we have this cute little vintage donkey, and she's pink with a little hat, and she's unusual. You know, you don't find a lot of donkeys, and one this cute especially. And anytime that I can find, you know, different types of animals that I don't always have in my shop, I definitely try to do that. You know, I often will have horses in the shop, dogs, cats, and those are favorites for sure. But you know, if I can get other animals, elephants, pigs, donkeys, lizards, whales, I'm always looking for other animals to add to the shop. Just because so many people will have maybe one special animal that's really important to them, that they like to collect, you know, that means something to them personally, almost like a totem animal. And so maybe you know someone who's really into donkeys, or maybe you are, so she will be listed in the description below this video. Now this rooster is really fun and unique, and it's actually made out of cast metal. You can hear that. That has also been finished with paints, and He's hollow in the bottom, but a nice weight because he is metal. And he's just really, really sort of stately and classy, but he still has that sort of country air to him because he's a rooster. So anyone who does decorating with sort of a country flair might really like this rooster as a gift. And he's just in super nice condition. And he's available at Happy Gals Vintage. Now, making our way around the table here with vintage animals, I have one of my favorite animals in the world, which is a beaver. These giant rodents. We have quite a few of these here in Vermont, and this is really unique to find a vintage figurine of a beaver. You don't come across them very often, and he is a porcelain, but with a really unique, super shiny, sort of painted finish that is unusual. You don't see it very often. When I first saw him and was purchasing him for my shop, I thought that maybe he was a sculpted resin. A lot of times I will get really nice vintage sculpted resin figurines and sell them in the shop, but he's not. He's a porcelain with a very, very shiny finish, and he's got so much detail. He's very realistic looking. So he's a really fun vintage animal figurine for someone who has, you know, a collection of interesting animals, or maybe someone who only collects beavers, which would be a difficult thing to collect because there just aren't that many beaver figurines. But if you are someone who does collect them, or if you are the one who collects them, well, here you go. He will be also listed in the description below this video. Now, I mostly sell vintage items in my Happy Gals Vintage shop, but I also occasionally will sell vintage items in my Elements 5 shop. Certain vintage items just have an air to them that seems to fit better in my Elements 5 shop, or has some spiritual aspect to it that makes it seem like a better fit for the Elements 5 shop than for the Happy Gals Vintage shop. And this little porcelain heart, this little black heart, is a trinket box that opens. I thought was just a really nice match for my Elements 5 shop. And I've just got my inventory sticker here. I'll take that off so you can kind of see the bottom. It has little porcelain feet that stick up. And it has sort of a sculpted rose relief in the porcelain on the top. It's very, very shiny black porcelain. Really quite pretty. And especially if you're into black items, you know someone who is, this might be kind of a fun gift for Valentine's Day that's different from just the traditional red or pink hearts that not everyone is into. Well, I have a couple more items that I want to go through really quickly for you. This one kind of reminds me of the pumpkin teapot I showed you earlier. This is like a flower creamer pitcher. And again, it's porcelain. It's this orange sort of iris style flower, or it possibly kind of reminds me of a tulip a little bit, with the green stem for a handle and a green bud at the top, and green leaves that, you know, wrap around the base of this creamer pitcher. And it is just such a nice little creamer. It's so pretty and so different and so just sort of classy. I mean, I just think it would just add a real air of elegance to any, you know, breakfast or tea table. You know, if you're having brunch with friends coming over, it would be just beautiful. Now, one last item I want to show you really quickly before we finish up here is this little covered, I guess you would call her a jar or a bowl with a lid. It's a little bunny face, a little bunny head sculpture with a sun hat, right? A little gardening hat. And it actually, the hat comes off. The hat is a lid. And you can have little secret treasures that you store inside underneath the bunny's hat. And I think this would be a really fun decoration for maybe Easter. But anyone who loves bunnies would probably like this at any time of year. And she's just so much fun. I just love the hat and her sweet little face. And she's in really nice condition. I think that her hat might have some tiny little spots that have been touched up along the rim. But if she does, they're hard to see. Oh, there's one tiny, tiny one where she had a tiny little chip and it's been touched up over the years. really hard to notice. Another one of those things where it's just such an older item that occasionally you're going to have little tiny flaws like that. But in the case of something with so much personality that is so much fun, it really hardly matters, to be honest. She doesn't have any big chips or cracks or anything like that. She's in really, really good condition, and she is so sweet. So there you go. These are just a few little quirky, kind of unusual vintage items that we have in our Happy Gals Vintage shop right now. And please do click on the link below in the description. Go to our Happy Gals Vintage shop and shop around. We have hundreds of interesting and fun and beautiful vintage items and antique items. Thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button for us. Please subscribe to our channel if you want to watch more videos about vintage items, and I hope that you have a really fabulous day.